hard to ignore how much hate Lara receives, and it really feels forced, and some of this negativity seems rooted in bias against Southeast Asians.
The key to my destiny.
I find it fascinating how everything in K-pop moves so fast in just a week's time. There is barely any time to keep up with the real-life issues. They keep getting in the way of everything else. It's hard to believe that everything has remained the same yet changed in just 1 month. Hello again, Rogieries, to my channel. I am finally back from the dead and have more opinions to share with you. So let's get started. Number 1. The most underrated skill in K-pop is knowing how to make ugly choreo look beautiful. Like, anyone can do clean moves when the steps are straightforward and the angles are natural. That's easy. But the real talent is when a choreographer throws in a weird transition, an awkward angle, or a move that on paper looks clunky as hell. And the idols somehow make it look effortless, like it was meant to be that way all along. You watch a performance, and nothing looks off. Every turn, every pause, every weird arm movement feels intentional, like it belongs there. That's not luck or editing, it's skill. It takes hours of practice, timing, and confidence to pull off something that could easily look stiff or just plain wrong. And the audience doesn't even realize how hard that is, because it's supposed to look natural. So when you're watching a stage, pay attention to the weird parts. The jumps that don't make sense. The formations that seem awkward at first. If the idols make it flow, that's mastery. Making ugly choreography look beautiful is a hidden art in K-pop, and honestly, it deserves way more respect than it gets. Number 2. Fandoms don't actually hate rival groups. They hate how similar their own fandom behavior is to them. All the screaming, streaming, defending every little thing, dragging critics online. It's exhausting to watch someone else do the exact same stuff you do. That's why the anger always feels personal. When a rival group drops a comeback, it's not the song or the performance that sparks the fights. It's seeing another fandom act like yours. All those debates, obsessive standing, and over-the-top defending suddenly feel mirrored back at you, and that hits different. It's like, wait, we look like that? And no one wants to admit they're doing the exact same thing they're complaining about. That's why you'll see stans going off on social media, calling rivals delusional or clout chasers. But if you really look at it, it's just self-reflection in disguise. They're projecting the parts of their own fandom they don't want to acknowledge. And because it's uncomfortable, it comes out as pure rage instead of awareness. Fandom wars aren't about the groups themselves. They're about how seeing someone else act like you makes you feel. That's way more entertaining to watch from the outside. Number 3. Not every group is meant to continue. After 7 years, we need to stop treating the 7-year contract expiration like a tragedy and start seeing it as a natural evolution. The 7-year itch exists for a reason. By the time a group hits that mark, the members are often in completely different stages of life than when they debuted at 16. The unpopular truth is that forcing a group to stay together for the fans usually results in a watered-down version of their original spark. We've seen it happen. The choreography gets lazier, the musical direction feels like a compromise, and you can practically see the members' individual burnout through the screen. Not every group has the lightning-in-a-bottle synergy of BTS, and that's okay. Ending at the 7-year peak allows a group to preserve a flawless legacy rather than slowly fading into a legacy act that just goes through the motions for a paycheck. We should celebrate groups that have the courage to say, "We've done everything we set out to do," and move on to solo careers, acting, or just a normal life. Longevity isn't always a win. Sometimes, it's just a cage. Number 4. Real stage presence isn't about confidence. It's about chaos control. People always say stage presence is about confidence, but that's missing the point. Real stage presence isn't just standing tall and hitting your notes perfectly. It's about controlling the chaos around you. The audience, the other members, the lighting, the timing. Everything is moving, unpredictable, and you somehow make it all feel like it revolves around you. Idols with true stage presence don't try to perform harder than anyone else. They don't force energy or overcompensate. Instead, they manipulate the moment. Subtle gestures, a look, a pause, even a small smirk. And suddenly the crowd, the camera, the whole stage is focused on them. It's magnetic, almost invisible work. But it's what makes a performance memorable. You can see it when someone walks on stage and everything else just fits. Others are good, maybe even great technically, but that person makes you forget about timing, choreography, or even the song itself. You're paying attention because they've bent the whole moment to their will. That's chaos control. That's what separates someone with a nice stage presence from someone who can own a show without trying to. Number 5. The most disrespected idols are the ones who make the group's vibe. Make sense, but never get credited for it. Yes, there's this one member who isn't always in the spotlight, doesn't have the flashy solos, but somehow keeps everything together. They're the reason the choreography flows, the humor lands, and the group doesn't feel like a bunch of disconnected personalities on stage. They're literally the glue, and glue is invisible. Nobody notices it when it works, but everyone notices when it's missing. That's why these idols often fly under the radar. Stans might cheer for the main dancer or the center, but the person quietly holding the energy, reacting to everyone else, and keeping the group cohesive, they rarely get the praise they deserve. And it's not just about performing. It's about timing, intuition, and understanding the personalities of everyone else in the group. They read the room before anyone else does and adjust without thinking. That skill? It's priceless. It keeps the group from falling apart on live stages, variety shows, or even just social media content. They don't get the flashy credit, but without them, the group wouldn't make sense at all. That's why the most undervalued idols are always the ones doing the hardest invisible work. Number 6. Nepotism is slowly destroying K-pop. I know this is a polarizing topic and everyone probably has a different take, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I'd love to hear where you guys stand on this. Am I onto something or am I totally off base? The rags to riches idol story is officially becoming a relic of the past. We're seeing a massive influx of silver spoon idols, the children of CEOs, legendary actors, or old money families. And it's fundamentally changing the soul of the industry. It's not just about who has the most talent anymore. It's about who has the connections to skip the line. The nuance here is that these idols are often incredibly hardworking and skilled. They still have to pull 14-hour days and nail the choreography. However, nepotism provides a safety net that the average trainee simply doesn't have. When a wealthy trainee fails an audition, they go home to a villa. When a working-class trainee fails, they lose their only shot at a better life. This nepotism creep is turning K-pop into a high society club, where the barrier to entry isn't just grit, but social standing. When the industry becomes dominated by those who are born into it, the music starts to lose its relatability. We're getting more songs about luxury and it-girl status, and fewer songs about the struggle and raw ambition that made K-pop so magnetic in the first place. If we don't protect the meritocracy, we're gonna end up with a genre that looks perfect, but feels completely hollow. It's true that family connections have always opened doors, but today's media landscape makes that advantage impossible to ignore. It's not just that it's happening, it's that we're seeing the behind-the-scenes mechanics of it more clearly than ever. Number 7. Baby Monster's traditional YG sound is actually holding them back. We all know that Baby Monster is talented, but their talent is being wasted on nonsense. This obsession with the traditional YG sound like it's some sacred artifact that can't be touched is getting annoying. YG stans can keep fooling themselves all they want, but it's not like Baby Monster brings anything new to the table. Most of their songs would have made sense in 2018, not in 2025. It feels like YG is more focused on recreating a vibe than actually letting these girls build their own identity. The beats, the structure, even the attitude all scream nostalgia cosplay. And nostalgia only works when it evolves. Right now, it feels frozen in time. Baby Monster should sound like the future of the company, not a greatest hits remix of its past. What's frustrating is that the members clearly have the skills to do more. Strong vocals, good energy, real potential. But instead of pushing them forward, YG keeps playing it safe, like they're scared of losing the brand image. Meanwhile, other groups are experimenting, taking risks, and actually sounding current. Keeping the YG flame alive is cute and all, but if the flame never moves, it just burns out. Baby Monster deserves better than being stuck in a time capsule. Number 8. Idols shouldn't apologize for scandals that aren't crimes. We really need to stop pretending that an idol's personal life is a public offense. It's 2025, and yet we're still forcing grown adults to post tear-stained, handwritten apologies the second they're caught dating, holding a cigarette, or just existing in a club. It is honestly exhausting to watch. Every time an agency forces an idol to, quote, deeply reflect for simply being human, they are effectively validating the most toxic corners of the fandom. They are telling obsessed fans, you're right, you do own this person's private time. It's a dangerous cycle. When you treat a normal life event like a moral failure, you aren't protecting the artist. You're feeding a sense of entitlement that leads to stalking and harassment. If it isn't a crime, it isn't a scandal. We should be encouraging idols to stand their ground, not bow their heads. An apology should mean something. It should be for a genuine mistake that hurt someone, not for the crime of being a 20-something with a life outside of a practice room. Until we stop demanding these hollow, I'm sorries, we're just complicit in a system that values profit over personhood. It's so ironic that people will drag an idol for a scandal that isn't even a crime, but when there's an actual issue that needs real accountability, everyone suddenly wants to play lawyer and defend them to the death. Make it make sense. Number 9. The Saja Boys dethroning BTS is a marketing illusion. I know that this was months ago, but we need to have a serious conversation about what happened on the Spotify charts. Seeing the Saja Boys, a literal cartoon group from a Netflix movie, surpass Dynamite is not the cultural reset people are claiming it is. It's a marketing illusion, plain and simple. The problem isn't the music. The song is catchy enough. The problem is that we're witnessing the rise of ghost stanning. People aren't stanning these members because of their talent or their journey. They're standing a 90-minute high-budget commercial. Netflix didn't build a fandom. They built an algorithm. When a streaming giant pins a song to the top of every new music playlist and embeds it into the subconscious of millions via a global film release, the numbers become artificial. If you stripped away the Netflix branding and released that exact same track under a mid-tier K-pop agency, it wouldn't even crack the top 200. We're moving into a dangerous era where IP matters more than idols. Real groups spend years building a connection with fans through blood, sweat, and actual presence. Replacing that with a fictional narrative designed in a boardroom feels hollow. It's not a win for the genre. It's just a win for big tech. I hope that this opinion didn't make me come off as bitter. Of course, I would be happy to see any group surpass BTS despite my love for their music. The problem is that it's a virtual group rather than a real one, and that's saying something. Number 10. Western music events exposed who has real stage presence. Western shows are kind of a reality check for a lot of K-pop idols. Bigger crowds, massive venues, and almost no safety net from backing tracks or production magic, it really showed who could actually command attention on their own and who only shines in K-pop's super controlled environment. Some idols walked on stage and instantly owned the space. You could feel their presence, their energy, their ability to connect with the audience without needing every camera angle or cut edited in. That's the kind of stage presence that isn't about fancy visuals. It's raw control, charisma, and timing. Then there were others who, let's be real, struggled. They looked lost or stiff, and you could see the difference between being trained to perform and being trained to look good on camera. It wasn't even subtle. When the energy isn't supported by production, all the cracks show. Western stages don't forgive weak projection or over-reliance on camera tricks, and that's why these events were so revealing. It wasn't about being viral or having a TikTok-ready performance. It was about who could truly perform. And some idols passed the test, while others, well, let's just say the gap was clear. Number 11. Having armpit hair is not gross. Okay, let's actually be adults for 2 seconds. I don't know who needs to hear this, but armpit hair is literally normal. Like, it grows. On humans. On idols. On you. On me. It's not some forbidden creature that needs to be shaved the moment it pops out. Some of y'all act like the second an idol lifts their arm and a little hair shows, the world is ending. Relax. And I'm saying this with love, but also with a tiny bit of annoyance. Stop calling it unhygienic or unattractive. Hygiene is about cleaning, not shaving. You can shave and still stink. You can have hair and smell fresh. It's not rocket science. And having bodily hair is something that you can never get rid of no matter what. It will always grow, it will always be present, and they exist for a reason. Armpit hair actually has some surprising benefits. For starters, it helps reduce skin chafing, which can be a real comfort saver. It also traps sweat and pheromones, playing a role in scent signaling that can help with attraction and even calmness. Plus, armpit hair acts as a barrier against bacteria, which is great for keeping your skin healthy. Another perk is that it can help regulate body temperature by trapping warmth or wicking away moisture. And if you've ever dealt with razor burn or ingrown hairs from shaving, you'll appreciate that armpit hair can help prevent those pesky skin issues, promoting overall skin health. So while it might seem like just an extra bit of hair, it actually serves some useful purposes. Honestly, the way people bully idols for having literal body hair is embarrassing. It gives "I've never interacted with a real person" energy. These are grown adults performing under hot lights for hours. Of course hair exists. Of course sweat exists. That's just the human condition. So yeah, I'm gonna say it loudly. Armpit hair is not gross. What is gross is pretending idols are mannequins instead of human beings. Grow up, drink some water, and let people have their follicles in peace. Number 12. The hate for Lara is extremely forced. It's hard to ignore how much hate Lara receives, and it really feels forced, and some of this negativity seems rooted in bias against Southeast Asians. From the very beginning, she's been targeted for everything: her skin color, her looks, her body, and even her sexuality. It's as if she can't catch a break. There are countless made-up controversies that paint her as the villain, and it's exhausting to witness. People need to take a step back and think about why they're so quick to judge her. It's baffling how some can hate someone just for existing. It seems like there's a trend among stans to constantly seek out a villain. If they're not busy tearing someone down, they'll do a deep search to find a victim and victimize them for no reason at all. This kind of behavior is toxic and unnecessary. The way some netizens are out here dragging her, you would think that she did something extremely awful. Everyone deserves a chance to be treated with respect and kindness, regardless of their background or choices. Instead of spreading hate, let's focus on supporting one another and celebrating our differences. Can we please just chill and show a little more compassion? It's very clear the industry isn't ready to fully accept Southeast Asian idols, but that's something they're going to have to get used to. A more diverse industry isn't a threat. It's healthier, more relatable, and actually pushes K-pop forward instead of keeping it stuck in the same narrow box. Number 13. Co-ed groups like I-dle Project are only succeeding because of Big Bang fatigue. Co-ed groups like I-dle Project aren't popping off because the industry suddenly figured out how to do mixed gender groups right. They're succeeding because people are tired. Specifically, tired of the same Big Bang blueprint being recycled over and over again. For years, it's been the same formula. Loud flexing tracks, edgy aesthetics, we're different. Branding that somehow all looks the same. At some point, even fans who love that sound start feeling burnt out. So when a co-ed group shows up, it feels fresh by default, not necessarily because they're reinventing music, but because they're not doing that again. I-dle Project benefits from contrast. Put a mixed group next to another hypermasculine boy group, or a tightly controlled girl group, and suddenly they feel exciting, experimental, bold. But if we're being honest, a lot of the hype comes from novelty and timing, not groundbreaking artistry. They stand out because the bar around them is stale. That doesn't mean they're talentless or undeserving. It just means the industry created the perfect conditions for people to latch on to anything that feels slightly different. Right now, co-ed groups are the palate cleanser. The question is whether they can survive once that fatigue wears off. Because being not like the others only works until the industry catches up and starts copying you too. Take away the hype, the co-ed factor, and the connections, and you're left with a group that's just exist. Number 14. Skin whitening needs to end. Listen, I'm not here to tell people how they should live and what they should do with their bodies. The reason why I have an issue with skin whitening is because it's rooted in deep colorism, where lighter skin is treated as the default standard of beauty, and darker skin is seen as something to fix. This mindset gets pushed heavily through media, skincare brands, and entertainment, and it creates unrealistic expectations for K-pop idols. Idols with naturally deeper skin tones often face subtle insults, jokes, and outright hate, which affects their confidence and limits the kinds of concepts they can do. Because every time they look slightly tan, people accuse them of looking dirty or unprofessional. Companies also pressure idols to use tone-up creams, heavy brightening makeup, and filters just to appear paler, and some even get edited in photos or music videos to match that standard. This not only erases natural diversity within Korea, but also hurts the global image of K-pop, making the industry look outdated and colorist. Skin whitening culture tells idols with darker skin that they're only beautiful if they're lighter, which is damaging, unfair, and emotionally exhausting. It wouldn't be such a big issue if people didn't push their own beauty standards onto everyone else, but that's exactly what happens. Instead of letting people exist in their natural skin tone, they're pressured to look a certain way just to be considered beautiful. It becomes a punishment for simply being born with darker skin, and honestly, it's exhausting. It's not cute, it's harmful, and it's just unfair. Number 15. The nepotism daesung controversy is valid. Let's just say it plainly. The nepotism daesung backlash makes sense, and people need to stop pretending it doesn't. I'm not saying All Day Project's music is trash. It's fine, listenable, cute even. But winning a literal daesung only 6 months after debut? Be serious for 2 seconds. That kind of win doesn't feel earned, it feels handed out. Especially when it's the Grand Honors Choice category, which is supposed to mean something. There are groups who have been grinding for years, putting out multiple comebacks, touring, improving, and still can't even sniff a big award. Then ADP walks in, fresh out the gate, and takes home a grand prize? Yeah, people are gonna side-eye that. And no, the All-Paid Project nickname didn't come out of nowhere. It is debatable whether or not Annie Moon's family connections are part of the conversation. And I can understand why some netizens would feel that way. This industry already runs on unfair standards, exploitation, and sacrifice. So when nepotism shows up this blatantly, it deserves to be called out. Award shows lose credibility when they reward access over achievement, so this wasn't jealousy. This was people noticing the math isn't mathing. Number 16. Shove your self-righteousness right up your narrow smelly. It's funny how the script is always the same. An idol does something questionable, and suddenly they're just ignorant, stop being sensitive. But the second fans actually try to explain why it's wrong, share context, or help them learn. Now you just want something to be mad about. Which one is it? You can't scream ignorance as an excuse, and then get angry when people try to fix that ignorance. That makes zero sense. Why does it bother you so much that people feel disrespected? If anything, that shows fans care enough to want idols to do better, not cancel them into oblivion. Wanting someone to be more informed isn't hate, it's basic accountability. Acting like that's unreasonable is wild. And let's be honest, what are you actually gaining from defending every single mistake like it's your full-time job? Do you think these idols are going to DM you a thank you note? Invite you to hang out? Be serious. You're burning energy invalidating real feelings for people who don't even know you exist. People are allowed to be uncomfortable. People are allowed to speak up. And no, that doesn't make them dramatic, obsessed, or evil. It just means they have standards. If that makes you mad, maybe ask yourself why. So what do you guys think about these opinions? Let me know down in the comments because I really want to hear your thoughts. And if you actually enjoyed this chaos of a video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell rosieries so you don't miss what's coming next. Alright, that's it from me for now. I'll see you all next time. Bye!